What would you do if you discovered that your entire marriage was a lie? That the person sleeping next to you every night had been living a double life for years? Today, I'm going to tell you my story. My name is Michael, and I thought I knew my wife Sarah better than anyone until one random Tuesday changed everything forever. But before I dive into this mind-bending story of betrayal and deception, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because stories like this one will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about trust and love. I had what everyone called the perfect marriage: 15 years with Sarah, 2 beautiful kids, a house in the suburbs with a white picket fence. Literally, I was a successful architect. She was a part-time graphic designer who worked from home. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our Sunday morning pancake traditions. Every Tuesday, I drove the same route to my downtown office, Maple Street to Fifth Avenue, past the old church through the business district. I could do it with my eyes closed. But on this particular Tuesday, October 15th, a date now burned into my memory, construction forced me to take a detour. As I navigated unfamiliar streets, something caught my eye: a small café called The Hideaway. Ironic name, as you'll soon understand. And there, through the large front window, was a woman with auburn hair pulled back in a messy bun, wearing a green sweater I'd bought her last Christmas. Sarah, my wife Sarah, who was supposed to be home working on a client's website. Sarah, who had kissed me goodbye that morning and said she'd probably spend the day in her pajamas. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. Maybe she just stepped out for coffee. Maybe she had a meeting she forgot to mention. I found a parking spot across the street, my heart beginning to race for reasons I couldn't quite name yet. I pushed through the cafe door, the little bell chiming my arrival. The smell of roasted coffee and fresh pastries filled my nostrils, but all I could focus on was my wife's face as she looked up from her table. She froze, completely froze. Her coffee cup was halfway to her lips, suspended in time. Her eyes went wide and I saw something I'd never seen before. Pure, undiluted panic. "Michael." Her voice cracked. "What are you? How did you?" That's when I noticed she wasn't alone. Across from her sat a man I'd never seen before. Tall, dark hair, expensive suit. But it wasn't just that Sarah was having coffee with a stranger that made my blood run cold. It was the way they were sitting, leaned in close, intimate. It was the man's hand that had been covering hers on the table before I walked in. It was the way the stranger was looking between us with the expression of someone who had just been caught. "Sarah," I said slowly, "aren't you supposed to be working at home today?" She opened her mouth, then closed it, opened it again. Michael, I can explain." But the stranger beat her to it. He stood up, extending his hand with the confidence of someone used to talking his way out of situations. "You must be Michael." "I'm Marcus. Marcus Webb." The name hit me like a physical blow. Marcus Webb, Sarah's client, the one she'd been doing extended projects for over the past 8 months. The reason for all those late nights, weekend work sessions, and sudden business trips. I didn't shake the offered hand. Instead, I pulled out my phone and scrolled to Sarah's location sharing, something we'd set up years ago for convenience and safety. According to my phone, Sarah was at home. She'd clearly turned off her location sharing that morning. "Interesting," I said, my voice dangerously quiet. "Because according to your phone, you're at home right now working." What happened next would replay in my mind for months. Sarah's face crumbled, not with sadness or regret, but with the resignation of someone whose carefully constructed lie had finally collapsed. "Michael, please sit down," she whispered. But I was already putting the pieces together. The new lingerie I'd found in her drawer that she said was for special occasions but never wore around me. The way she'd started going to the gym religiously and bought new clothes. How she'd become protective of her phone, taking it everywhere, even to the bathroom. The work trips to visit clients in other cities. The sudden interest in weekend conferences and networking events. The evening she came home smelling like expensive cologne that definitely wasn't mine. Marcus was still standing there awkwardly, clearly wishing he could disappear. "Look, Michael, this isn't how we wanted you to find out. My voice rose. Sarah finally found her voice. "Michael, I've been trying to figure out how to tell you. Marcus and I, we're in love. We have been for almost a year now. The words hung in the air like smoke. I felt like I was watching this happen to someone else. This couldn't be my life. This couldn't be my wife of 15 years telling me she'd been living a complete lie. A year, I managed. 14 months, Marcus said quietly. I'm sorry, Michael. I really am. But Sarah and I, we connect in a way that... Don't. My voice cut through the air like a blade. Don't you dare try to justify this. Sarah was crying now, but I felt nothing. The woman sitting across from me looked like my wife, sounded like my wife, but was a complete stranger. The kids, I asked. The kids love you, Sarah said quickly. This doesn't change. Everything changes, Sarah. Everything. But the story doesn't end there. Because as I stood to leave, Marcus made a mistake that revealed just how deep this betrayal went. Wait, Marcus called after me. Your laptop bag. You left your laptop bag. I turned slowly. I wasn't carrying a laptop bag. I never brought my laptop to this cafe because I'd never been to this cafe before in my life. Sarah's face went white. Whose laptop bag, Marcus? I asked. The silence stretched between us like a chasm. Finally, Marcus looked down at a worn leather bag by his feet. A bag I recognized instantly. My own laptop bag. The one Sarah had given me for our 10th anniversary. The one that had been missing for 2 weeks. She's been coming here every Tuesday for months, Marcus said quietly, apparently deciding honesty was his only option now. She told me she was separated, that you were just roommates at this point, staying together for the kids until the divorce was final. I looked at Sarah, who couldn't meet my eyes. Separated. My laugh was hollow. Sarah, we made love 3 nights ago. You told me you loved me yesterday morning. Last weekend, you planned our anniversary trip to Napa. The final piece clicked into place. Sarah hadn't just been cheating. She'd been actively planning to leave, creating an alternate reality where she was the victim of a loveless marriage instead of the architect of its destruction. Marcus looked sick. Sarah, you told me? She told you what you needed to hear? I said. Just like she's been telling me what I needed to hear. The question is, who else has she been lying to? I walked out of that cafe and into a completely different life. The divorce was swift. Sarah didn't contest it. She moved in with Marcus 2 weeks later. The kids split their time between homes now, asking questions I still don't know how to answer. But here's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just break your heart. It breaks your reality. It makes you question every memory, every moment, every "I love you" that came before. I thought I knew my wife. Thought I knew my marriage. Thought I knew my life. I was wrong about all of it. Sometimes the people closest to us are living completely different lives right under our noses. Sometimes the person you trust most in the world is the one who's been deceiving you the longest. The question is, how well do you really know the people in your life? If this story left you questioning everything, make sure to subscribe for more true stories that will keep you up at night. Hit that like button if you think I deserve better, and let me know in the comments, what would you have done in my situation? Until next time, remember, sometimes the biggest betrayals come from the people we never suspect.